What's going on, guys? BladeZilla here, and today we're taking a look at this super unique and special Gen 5.1 111. So sit back, relax, grab yourself a cup of coffee, a whiskey, a beer, a water, a Coke Zero, maybe even a Coca-Cola sugar. Hit it hard, guys. So this is what we're looking at today, and a little surprise here. It's S90V, which is kind of rare because it's priced at the exact same price point as an M390 variant for this limited batch release, which wasn't very big, but we got some up on the site right now as I'm filming this. I just put some photos up, put some stuff up, so we're going to talk about this. So as a reminder, BladeZilla.ca is the site, which you can see right now on my phone if it wants to load. We're in Canada, have all this stuff ready to rock and roll. So there's the Shirogorov 111. Also got a little bit of, I think 4 of these tools in, maybe 5. The MV tool for the sync bits, which is pretty cool. Some CKF stuff, some Signature Series, SOCOMs. Geez, there's all kinds of good stuff lately. Lots of CKF. This Old Enough Custom, I did a video on that. Some McNeese. This guy's a diamond in the rough as well. The Romeo and Juliet, still sitting on the site. Anyway, BladeZilla.ca in Canada. So there you go. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to look at this gorgeous... Let's move that little board there. We're here to look at this gorgeous Gen 5.1 S90V Shirogorov 111. Let's just take that in. How huge is that, first of all? It's like... Just doing that. It's like a little pocket sword. It's, I think that's what, what's his name there? Metal Complex, I think, reviewed 5.1 at one point, and he called it a pocket sword, and that seems to have taken off. So, 111, as you'd assume, comes from the 111mm blade, which is just over 4 inches, about 4 1/4. Overall length is 9 5/8 roughly, depending on how good your eyesight is, 9 3/4, somewhere around there. Handle length is 5 3/8, 5 1/4, somewhere in there. It's a big blade, but it really isn't a huge knife. Like, it's not as big as you'd think. And let's grab some production stuff here to kind of compare. We'll grab our CCKS Hattie, also carbon. And I don't have any carbon neons here, or Shirogorov calls them Hattion, but I do have my little my Neon Zero. Where are you? Here we go. There we go. There's your 3. And there is one in between. I don't know where my Stellar is. It's not in the case. And I don't want to open a new one. So we're going to put in the Kami. There you go. I wonder if my wife put it in her car or something. Oh, jeez, crazy. But, for lack of better terms, the Kami, Kumi, whatever you want to call it. Seems like I get grilled all the time online for mispronouncing that knife, but Kami, Kami, whatever. It's essentially a Stellar size-wise, so there you go. There's your 4 sizes. So 111, 95mm, 85mm, and a little bit smaller. Actually, is it 90mm and 85? I don't know. Anyway, Neon's not small. 3.5-inch blade, so really good bug-out-esque carry. But there you go. So we got the blade length on it, which is super sick. Got the materials to discuss. So it is a purple carbon fiber. That's what they're calling it. It's not a carbo tie. They're calling it purple carbon fiber, which is very similar to the Gen 5.1 CF material, but it's got a little hint, actually pretty substantial hint, of purple in the background. It's really well done, and it looks phenomenal, honestly. I'm always curious when I get these knives in. I'm always trying to see if there's been any subtle changes, and typically for Shirogorov there are substantial changes. They will have renamed the knife to 5.2 or something like that. But given that it's still 5.1, I'm assuming everything on this knife is buttoned right down to the exact specs of previous gens. But the beauty of this knife, it's just massive. That's what she said. And it's big, but it's not like substantially large in hand. Like it's got a good feel to it. And if you look at kind of the profile of the carry on it, you know, kind of rounded out internal handle, but no big separator for your fingers on the back, no curved back, no 2-finger slotting, nothing like that. So it fits real nice. Very, very nice actually. You have the milling down on the side of the handle here. And then even up top here, I don't know if the camera's going to pick up, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of mill marks there. Also really nicely done. Looks so cool. Okay. Flip side, we're getting the same kind of patterning. You know, the pattern down here looks nice. It's kind of a rounded carbon fiber weave all throughout the top. And the layering on here is just gorgeous as well. You can see in there, it just looks so nice. And then back on the same program up here with those 5 slots, which I believe are symmetrical, which would make the most sense. And they've got this nice long back spacer as well, which goes, you know, pretty, actually for a Shirogorov, they normally go about halfway. So this one goes quite far in that you're probably 75% plus of the entire duration or the length, which is nice because it just kind of fills it all quite nicely. It is a stonewash tie back spacer, I should say, as well, and that matches the clip perfectly. So good materials, well executed, looks terrific. And then the beauty of this is, you know, the S90V Blade, which is a kind of, what do they call it? Their stonewash, which is beautiful, but S90V, which is just rare and uncommon for a 111. I don't know if I've seen, other than maybe some showpieces, that have been S90V on a Gen 5.1. So would love to know how many they did in this, but anytime we get an oddball blade like this, not an oddball, but like a special blade, it kind of tells me they're doing something with the 111 or with that model. Just from my experience and kind of doing all these different variants and variations of Stellars and Astroms and Neons and F95s and F3s, you know, seeing an S90V blade on a production knife, it makes me wonder if they're working behind the scenes on something that's 111 based. Because we've had the Chronometer 30s, we've had S30V, I've got some S35VN 111s coming in as well, which are all throwbacks in G10 to old models. So they're doing a lot of different blade steels on 111 models, and you wonder why that is, right? It just doesn't, you know, maybe they've made something and they've got leftovers, I don't know. But to me, something's going on there. The purple itself, you know what? It's not everybody's cup of tea, but in this config, I am telling you, purple is going to be money because it's just like, it's black, but purple and black, just like purple and blue, purple and black, black and red, black and blue, they all work really well together. And the beauty of this is, as well as I'm kind of rotating, hopefully you're watching this in 4K. This carbon fiber changes the look of this knife as you rotate it around. The light hits different kind of pattern weave. It's just so well done. You know, no one's doing CF milled titanium knives with S90V better than this right now. It runs on their multi-row bearings system, MRBS, which is, if we're looking at standard bearing, think of it as, you know, your standard bearing would be a ball on a track, whereas this one I think is 3 balls in a pinwheel configuration off of that. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that provides kind of some blade stability in contact. It's not necessarily to make it super smooth or anything, but that's about as good as you're going to get on a Shirogorov or any knife. Like, look at this, just silky smooth. Oh God, that is just incredible. Tolerance-wise as well, we are right up against that for a production knife. I don't know if you're getting closer than that. The Astroms were also really close to that as well. And you know what? Why don't we take a look at an Astrom and compare this? Because everyone seems to think the Astrom is like this massive knife compared to the 111, or they think it's big. And I want to basically put my stake in the ground and say, look, an Astrom is basically like a long neon, where the 111 is a completely different knife. So let me go grab an Astrom, and let's do a quick comparison here. All right, so here we go. Let's put this down here. So handle-wise, this is a first production Astrom, just so you guys know. Also has that little purple vibe to it. So let's do pivot to pivot. Tell me that's not a substantial difference right away. Okay. Now, shooting this guy out, also Magna Cut, super cool knife. Look how thin that knife is compared to the 111. Two completely different knives. Completely different sizes, not even close, but I guess when you look at the spec of the blade, you go, hey, that is kind of long, right? 4-inch, I think, is what the Astrom is, or is it just not even 4-inch, just like a mil under, just very lightly under. So it's just so funny. You see the, the affiliation with the old 110 kickstop, and they go, oh my God, it's such a big knife, but quite a bit different. And if we grab that neon, just to show the handle profile as well, I've always said it's basically a big neon, or bigger neon, right? Maybe I should move this down, fill the screen a little better, make it more relevant, right? There we go. There's your 3 sizes. But, to me, it's like an F95 neon versus a 111, like just completely different in size. Super, super cool to have them as well. But like, let's look at the profile. Very similar, right? So that you get that intake for your hand up here, that kind of smooth curve. But all 3 kind of have that up top in conjunction with the flipper tab. And then that little break, and then a smooth rounded profile at the back. Very consistent. And that's why I'm saying that these are very similar knives in that regard. So there's your comparison to an Astrom. This particular one is Magna Cut, like I said, first production, which is awesome. But I would assume at some point here it's going to be stonewashed high with M390, much like the Stellar. I have done a video on this knife, the first production Astrom. I don't know how long ago now, but maybe a month ago or so. So there will be a long, detailed, probably half-hour plus, knowing me, video on the Astrom. And hint, I love the knife, and it's so slick. Oh God, I love that knife. So anyway, that was the comparison in size, because it's just been a common topic of, oh, the Astrom is very similar to a 111, and they're really not. They're completely different categories. Now, the beauty of this, as I mentioned earlier, is that S90V Blade. And then, in addition to that, just being 111, there are people that are able to kind of thumb flick this, reverse flick this with that cutout. I am not one of those people. If I thumb flick this or reverse flick this, I will probably end up in the ER with stitches in multiple places. So, not a big fan of trying. But there are people that are able to do that, and that is the beauty of that cutout on the 111, right? Am I crazy? Or did that cutout, was that a little different? I thought it had a little bit of an interior design to it on some of the other 111s. Or am I thinking of something else? I could have sworn the inside of this was a little bit different. I'm going to actually look that up on some old stock photos I did of some 111s here. I just want to see if that cutout is different. Could be wrong, but let me find out here, because I am curious. You know what? I was right. This window's changed. So on the old 511, not the old, but current Gen 511, or 111 Gen 5.1, the cutout on this is actually kind of got a smooth curvature inside it. So it's cut out, and then it's kind of angled from the blade down into the bevel. So yes, it's a little different on this blade, ever so slightly, because I recall commenting on the inside of this is that it's kind of like got a stonewashed different feel to it, different look. So this is a little bit different. And I don't have a 5.1 111 kicking around here, so that sucks. Because I wish I did. And the other 111s that I have done videos on, the S90V, the Chronometer 30, they don't have that cutout. Same with the Starship 111, same kind of thing. It had the blade that was cut out and then rounded and kind of beveled down. I know it's kind of tough to explain, but it was different. So yeah, that's a different blade cutout. Interesting. I wonder why. Dun dun dun. What are we missing? Exhibit A here. We need to solve the puzzle. But cool enough. Still looks fantastic. I think it's actually a little more usable because the edge is a little harder to flick out now versus it being rounded on the inside, so that's cool. The Shirogorov bear as well. Love that on the side. If you know me, I've talked about this for forever. Having the bear there is great, but it is in line with the cutting path, and for whatever reason, even on custom division, even on full customs, they will not remove that from the S90V on the blade or MagnaCut, M390, whatever. They always seem to put that on the blade, which is kind of their shtick, which is fine, but I've always said, put that bear on the handle, put it back here, and on the Astrum, they did that. No thanks to me, but just I think general consensus, having the bear on the handle, just I think it looks a little classier and isn't going to wear off if you are going to hand this knife down to kids or whatever. And let's not forget, these things are going to be made to last for that lifetime type scenario. They're built so well that just because the bear is there today doesn't mean 50 years from now it's going to be there. So I like it permanent on the handle. Still looks super cool where it is for the time being. And then that S90V, on some knives they were even putting them like on the inside and like a spot down here, something like that. So is what it is. Jimping wise, super comfortable, nice wide spread, and it does match the backspacer as well. That pattern is consistent, so that's cool. So yeah, I've always been a fan of the jimping on the 111s. It's always been nice and smooth and comfortable and not aggressive, but to me it's more of a work glove style knife, right? Because the bigger handle size, the bigger blade size, it's just more of a utilitarian design. Remember, I have size XL hands, and I could probably have another 2 fingers on the back of this without a work glove on and be quite comfortable. So just food for thought. It's a longer handle, so if you do throw on a work glove and all of a sudden you're spread out a little bit, it's just a little easier to utilize with a pair of gloves on or whatever, or maybe you're hunting or whatever. So something to think about. It is their inset liner lock as well, so a lot of I know it's still accessible from the right finger, but some lefties will prefer the inset lock, even though you can't rotate the clip, which is attached internally. This is where I always love to take photos for Instagram and stuff, because you get that MRBS that's written on the inside there, as well as just some really, really nice milling lines that are just so well done. And we've seen some custom division versions of this knife on the channel where that is very similar. That tab might even be the same. Just finished very beautifully, done so well. So pretty cool. It is elevated as well. I always like to show on my F95s. Let's grab that CCKS Hattie. I always like to show, when we're looking at that handle, I always roll the knife like this to show how the liner lock, jeez, my God. I'm filming this at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I'm pretty tired. Anyway, we're looking at the lock bar here. It's raised on that side, so your thumb kind of falls onto it a little easier, and it's just easier to access. So I always like on their designs how they, even on the liner locks, they do raise that for accessibility purposes on the lock. I just find it so easy. On this knife as well, they've done some additional beveling on this side of the knife just to make that a little bit easier to find as well. So I'm not complaining. Really, really nicely designed. On the inside as well, you can see I don't think we have any additional skeletonization on the carbon fiber itself. which I don't think they've done. Oh, just dropping my light here. I don't think they've done on any of the other 111s other than custom divisions. Yeah, so it's smooth on the inside other than on the titanium where they typically do some skeletonization. Yeah, there's some going on there. Nicely done. But the carbon, smooth on the inside. Hopefully you can see that on the inside of the titanium side on the liner lock. There is some material taken out, just to add balance, I would imagine. And then as I mentioned earlier, that pocket clip right here is attached from the inside. So if you look at the profile from the non-show side, you're seeing, blanks, right? 1, 2, 3 on the hardware because there is a captive pivot on this. And on this side, you're seeing 3 screws. Let's put that blade away so I don't cut myself. So those 3 screw heads, 1, 2, 3. You do need the Shirogorov bits to do, but in a pinch, a penny or, a folded MasterCard or credit card. Because once you buy one of these, you're not going to be able to really use your credit card anymore. So put it away, fold it up, use it as a tool. The key point there is that you have to use a material softer than the metal that you're unscrewing or screwing up, because you don't want to put damage into it. So just keep that in mind. But Shirogorov puts together absolutely sensational tools in the form of kind of custom divisions, cyber tools, ambi tools that kind of look like this, and beautifully made, very fidgety, and have all the bits that you need to kind of play with your new toy and tune it and whatnot. So always worth getting the right tool for the right job, doing it once and doing it right. But it is a production knife, and it is a very expensive production knife. There will be people that will use a screwdriver, and I can't stop you because it will work, but you're going to really probably mess up those beautifully made titanium. I think they're titanium bits. I think it's Thai hardware. I would imagine it's Thai. And they do make actually rebuild kits on these, and I think I have some for the 111 as well right now. So they should be Thai. But my mind is thinking that they're steel, but I think it's just on the Ursus models they're steel. So I would assume they're Thai. Like I said, I don't have a spec sheet in front of me, so it's kind of hard to bring up stats and stuff when I don't have it. And that's why we're not going into detail on a lot of this stuff about blade angles and edges and lengths and materials and all that stuff. We're just kind of keeping it casual. So, yeah. What else can I tell you on this guy? Oh, it does have a lanyard hole as well on the back spacer here, which is very functional, right? So if you do want to run a lanyard on the back, you can. And I love how from a side profile, if the camera wants to focus, let's just select the knife there. From a side profile, the gap on the side doesn't really show. I like that. As on the Stellar it does. This is kind of just tucked away quite nicely, very usable. It does not double as a glass breaker, although I guess being made of Thai, it will be pretty tough and probably able to shatter something in the event of an emergency. But let's be honest, you'd probably make more use of that flipper tab than whacking that against something. But lanyard hole, if you want to add some cord in there, it would work great. And other than that, I've always wondered, I don't know if people know this, I've always wondered why on the 111 they've got that extra little jimping up top hiding on here. It's like, is it it does stick out of the frame just a bit. I don't know if I can show that. It does stick out just a little bit on the front here above the hardware. And I wonder if some people are doing like some kind of a flick on that, getting it to open. I definitely won't be able to do that, but once again, see earlier when I was talking about reverse flicking and cutting myself immediately, I would probably do that, but probably even worse. Anyway, pretty cool nonetheless. Kind of curious why that's there, because functionally it doesn't really do anything elsewhere when it's open or shut, right? So you open it, look where it goes, inside the knife. So who knows? The one thing that people will probably complain about on this is, like some of the F95s, they tend to put some kind of some grooves or some beveling, behind the flipper tab, so that when you do flick it open, you're not hitting kind of a sharper edge. But let's be honest here, this guy it's rounded on the carbon fiber, it's not sharp, but future generations, I wouldn't mind a little cutout here behind this, much like on the, right here, see how there's like a little groove cut for that elevated lock, right? Let's see, the light's changing here. So let's go this way. See how there's that little groove there? I wouldn't mind something like that just behind here. And I'll grab that just to show the difference what I'm talking about. See how the little grooves? Oh man, let's move this. Come on. Get your S together here. See what I'm talking about? See how there's that little bevel on the F95 or Cadia in this case? Right, so when you open it, your fingers kind of go in there, just a little smoother. I would like that on the 111. That'd be pretty cool. It's not needed, but it'd be cool. What else? I think I've covered it. So S90V is kind of the big sell point on this. That kind of interesting config on the blade is a little different. I have not talked about the actual blade itself, how it's really nice jimping, but it also pinches in up top here and then expands out on the tips to kind of provide a little additional strength. That's a nice touch as well, so hopefully you can see that. Didn't mention that at all. Otherwise, I think we've kind of covered it all. Talked about the hardware, talked about the lanyard hole, talked about that it's an inset liner lock, that's a thing of beauty, talked about that it's on multi-row bearings. Internal skeletonization is kind of non-existent on the carbon, but is on the titanium. The clipping attached internally. I think I've kind of touched on everything that I normally would. Forward position of the flipper tab on this guy. It is a little more forward of center because it tends to be a longer blade, so longer blade requires more leverage, so you want to kind of move that forward a little bit. So it makes a lot of sense. But I think that might be it for this one, folks. So check it out, BladeZilla.ca. I've got a stack of these. They're on the site now. Quietly put them up late last night, and a couple did sell overnight. So by the time this video is up, hopefully there's still some in the store. But they are beautiful. They're a beautiful knife, and I expect them to move pretty quick. Just looking at this now, I'm seeing this as well. I don't know if this is new. The cutting on the carbon fiber in front of the flipper. Hopefully you can see that, the lighting. It's like a little pocket kind of milled out here. You see this little pocket inside? What the hell is that for? I don't think it's functional. I wonder why they did that. What am I missing? I think there's been a couple little subtleties here. I'd have to look at that other Gen 5.1 photos and videos that I did, but I don't recall these being cut out here. That doesn't... My spidey senses are tingling. Any guesses? Leave a comment below if you know what the hell that's for. Why there's the cutout. What am I missing here? In the carbon fiber. See if it'll focus and I can show you a little better. No, of course not. Why would it? Why would it? Yeah, I'm not too sure what that is. Interesting. There's always something with these knives, eh? They just continually adjust and make subtle changes and refine, and that's why people buy them. It's never wholesale changes. It's always just little tweaks. Constant little tweaks. And that's what makes them so cool. Okay guys, check out BladeZilla.ca. Hopefully I have some of these in the store by the time this video drops. Super sick knife. I think purple black looks so good. And S90V is just super rare for this knife in production. So get them while they're hot. But like I said, my spidey senses are tingling on a couple things, on a couple little changes they've made. And the fact that they're throwing a different steel on it kind of is an indicator to me of something else. So who knows? Who knows what they're doing there? I'm very curious to see. And otherwise, 111's a beast, man. Absolute pocket sword. Love the knife. Been super popular over the years, and great pickup for anyone interested. So get them while you can. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Appreciate you. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook page. I just created one, so go there and say hi. And otherwise, we will see you guys later. All right, peace.